Hello. This talk is inspired by a radio talk show I was listening to and an academic called Thomas Chamorro Premuzic, who wrote an article in the Harvard Business Review. The radio show was the James O'Brien talk show. He was discussing the gross incompetence of the UK government in relation to the UK leaving the European Union, or Brexit in other words. But this talk isn't about Brexit. It's about the incompetence of men in positions of power and why there are so few women in these top positions. O'Brien made a point that the supporters of Brexit within the UK Parliament, the architects of the Leave campaign in 2016, such as Boris Johnson, Liam Fox and David Davis, that they're not well informed about the consequences of leaving the EU. And when offered facts about the consequences of leaving, they dismiss the facts, claiming that they are Project Fear and that World Trade Organization rules are fine for the UK, that the border problem between Northern and the Republic of Ireland are not an issue. And they manage to give fairly persuasive arguments at face value. It's only when you check the details of their arguments that you realise they are just plain wrong. O'Brien went on to tell the listeners how some of the cleverest people he knows often doubt their own talents and abilities. Politicians, on the other hand, do not seem to doubt their abilities, their knowledge and their talents. His point was that politicians, the people in power, get to where they are in these high positions in government, not because they are talented, able and knowledgeable, but because actually they are just confident and they sell their confidence to the public. Their confidence makes the public trust them. As an example, if you follow the UK news at all, you'll probably be familiar with the UK Transport Minister, Mr. Chris Grayling. This man was responsible for awarding a contract to a shipping company to deliver goods to the UK in the event of a no-deal Brexit. The company he awarded the contract to had no ships. The contract was later cancelled, but resulted in the Channel Tunnel train operator, Eurotunnel, claiming £33 million, yes, 33 million, from the UK government as compensation because it was not given the opportunity to compete in the tender for the contract to deliver these goods. This sort of incompetence in people usually results in them losing their jobs. Not so for Chris Grayling. He's so confident in his own abilities, he refuses to resign, he keeps his job, and he claims that it's not his fault. Now, Thomas Chamorro Premuzic, the writer of this article, asked the question in the title of his article, why do so many incompetent men become leaders? And he's asking this because there are so few women in positions of power, even now in the 21st century. The three usual reasons for this are given as follows. Firstly, that they are not capable, or secondly, that they are not interested, or thirdly, that they are interested and capable, but they are unable to break the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is this invisible barrier that prevents women from getting the top jobs. Now, some women do rise to the top of their profession. The chief executive of the TV broadcaster Channel 4 is a woman, Alex Mahon, and the boss of the Co-op food retail chain is Jo Whitfield. They've both been nominated for the 2019 Businesswoman of the Year award. Let's quickly look at the three reasons then and look at the actual reason, incompetence. So firstly, are women less capable than men? Well, of course not. As evidence for this, young women are 36% more likely to apply for a place at university than young men in the UK. Girls generally outperform boys at school in the UK. So the answer is not about being capable in terms of education. So the second point was, are women not interested in the top jobs? There is some truth in this. Research conducted on 64,000 employees in 279 companies in the US by McKinsey and Company in 2018 found the following. Most employees, male and female, are interested in promotions, but only 40% of female workers want to be in top executive positions, in contrast to 56% of men. And the primary reason stated was the challenge of maintaining a good work-life balance. They also found that women were more likely to say they don't want to deal with the office politics that these positions attract. And the biggest difference between men and women is in their respective perception of pressure in the job. 32% of women say they don't want to deal with the pressure of being a top executive, while only 21% of men say the same. So this statistic suggests that men have more confidence in their own ability to deal with pressure, although they may not actually have the ability to deal with that pressure. The third reason is this glass ceiling, this invisible barrier to women entering the highest, best paid, powerful positions. And again, there seems to be some truth in this. Allen in 2018 suggests 6 areas where women fall short of their male counterparts. I'm going to focus on 4 of these as follows. Firstly, women don't negotiate as well as men for themselves. Number 2, women undervalue their talents. 3, women don't own their power to lead and shy away from conflict in the workplace. And number 4, women are too risk averse, so they avoid risks. They demonstrate a greater fear of failure. I chose these 4 specifically because they relate directly to what Chamorro Premusic argues about men. Number 1, if men are more confident, they will ask for more. They'll have the confidence to ask for the pay rise, the promotion. Number 2, perhaps women only undervalue their talents in relation to men. So in other words, women value their talents accurately, but men overstate their talents. Number 3, perhaps women shy away from conflict and office politics because they are sick and tired of the bluff and bluster from the incompetent males at the head of their organisation. And lastly, number 4, perhaps women are just risk averse in relation to men, meaning that men are willing to take too many risks and risks that are too big, whereas women are more likely to calculate the risks in order to make more informed decisions. Chamorro Premusic argues that charismatic men, the charming men, the self-centered and overconfident men tend to be elected as leaders. These characteristics, the charm, the charisma, are used as a mask, as a disguise for their incompetence, their lack of talent, ability and knowledge. We see this clearly in politicians. In many cases, as we saw with the Chris Grayling example, politicians have so little knowledge and expertise they can make themselves look like fools. The former Brexit Secretary, Dominic Raab, admitted that he hadn't fully understood how important the port of Dover was for the UK's imports and exports. Now, around 10,000 trucks pass through this port every day to import and export goods, so it's obviously an essential part of the UK's economy. These narcissistic characteristics of men are great for getting jobs where candidates are essentially selling themselves, their skills and their expertise, but less good for being successful in the top jobs. As O'Brien said about the very intelligent people he knows who doubt themselves and their abilities, they possess more of these female traits of not being so narcissistic, and that may explain why they're not top politicians or business leaders. Thank you.